Anyways, welcome to the monthly training. What I was saying before is that we've been doing these every month for over 1.5 years now. You'd never be able to tell. Last month, we did an update on some of the software. So in June of 2021, we did a huge merger of Burning Glass and Emsi. And so we've been trying to make sure that you're updated on all of our products. So last month for our monthly training, we updated you all on the job posting information that came from Burning Glass's data set over to Emsi's data set. That just gave you a more quality, more robust data set to be able to use from employers and seeing the skills that they're posting. So you can check that out online if you missed it. I will post the link for you here so that you can grab that after I get done with this introduction. Just an overview of what these monthly trainings are. They're here to help you understand a bit more how you can utilize the data at Emsi Burning Glass and where you can get that information. So we'll cover things in Analyst, we'll cover merger updates, tool updates, that kind of thing. I always like to include a little bit too that we have some folks that are viewing from Canada. Remember, we have different data for Canada and the US. We wish that everyone had equal data, the same type of data, the same information, but unfortunately it's just different for privacy laws and different regulations in each country. So there will be some things that we have in the US that Canada doesn't and vice versa. We will try and point that out as we go through. There's a small portion towards the end of today's training that will be like that. So Chantelle is going to be great, and she'll make a quick note for you on that. The final piece is this is recorded today, so if you aren't able to stay the whole time, or if you want to share this with colleagues, you'll get that recording via email after the webinar, and as long as you are registered. And you can share that with anyone. We want to make sure that everyone can use these so that you can join these and get that information. You can sign up for our monthly webinar. I'll put that link in there as well, that you can sign up for this training through. We announce it at the beginning of every month, so you can go sign up. You also will get a last minute email from your account manager. So if you don't want to sign up for that newsletter, that's okay. We want to make sure you can be here as well and not get spammed with all of the information that Emsi wants you to have. I do feel it's all relevant, but sometimes we know everybody gets a million emails. So we're not going to do that to you. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Chantelle Wilson. She is one of our account managers here at Emsi, and I'm really excited to have her do this training. She used to be a teacher, and every time that she does trainings or we have some kind of team interaction, you can tell, and it's wonderful because I understand everything she's saying. So it's like she's done this before. So I'm really excited, and Chantelle, I will let you start. I'm going to give you permissions to share your screen here if I can get there. Gosh, you guys, everyone here can tell that I did not have my coffee this morning, and that may have been a huge mistake. So, Chantelle, can you share your screen?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. I'm going to hand it over to you, and I'm going to mute myself. So everybody enjoy, and please feel free to put those questions into the chat feature, and we will definitely get to those at the end of Chantelle's presentation.
Awesome. At least you can see my screen, right?
Yes, I can, and I can hear you. We're set to go.
Good. Okay, so hello, everybody. My name is Chantelle Wilson, as Elise said, and I did spend the last 8 years teaching second grade. So if I make any second grade, like 8-year-old boy jokes, I apologize in advance. I will try to keep it to a minimum. But I'm an account manager here at Emsi Burning Glass, and I have the pleasure of serving the Northeast. So we are going to be spending time in New Hampshire today with our walkthrough. But before jumping into New Hampshire, let's jump into the Analyst tool itself. I thought I would show you, this is where you log in. So if you're not really sure where to log into Analyst, this is where you go to economicmodeling.com. Go ahead and click that login button. Sign in, and this is the Analyst homepage here. So just some housekeeping things before we jump into the report. We are all about offering support here at Emsi Burning Glass. So one of the places where you can find support is here under the support button. You should have your account manager's name and email and number here. Feel free to contact them at any time. If this is not your account manager, you could still contact this person and they will get you in contact with the right person as well. Another place that we offer support is here through our chat box. These are real live people who are happy to help. This is my coworker, Marissa, back here. Marissa is very sweet and kind and helpful. So if you have a question right now, you could just ask her one. I'm sure she'd be happy to answer it for you. But we try to answer in 5 minutes or less. So this is a great place to come. and ask questions as you're walking through a report. If you see something and you're like, I wonder what does this mean, or how are you defining this, or this looks a little off, could you explain this to me? That's a great thing to drop here in this chat box. The last thing is going to be this knowledge base here. When clients ask me questions and I don't know the answer off the top of my head, which is not very often, I know all the answers all the time, I would come here first. This is the first place I would try to figure it out. We have a glossary of terms. We have our not so secret sources behind our data, our methodology. We have our how-tos with training. So Elise mentioned that we do this webinar every single month, which is true. And we keep record of those here. So if I know we've done ones in the past on using Analyst for Perkins 5, using Analyst to look into credentialing, micro-credentialing, that kind of a thing. So you can always come and see what webinars there are from the past. And then really helpful is our US data release notes that we have. If you are a Canadian friend here on the webinar with us, then you also have a knowledge base through the Canada side. This would be the Canada data release notes instead of the US release notes. But really helpful, scrolling down here is letting you know what is that data set that we're using, abbreviation, source, and then what run are we on. And we pull from a lot of different sources. So this is a great way to keep fresh and up to date. Okay, jumping back to the home screen here. Here we have a whole bunch of saved reports. So if you have been an analyst before, you've saved your report, it should be saved here on the home screen. It updates every other quarter to give you the most recent and fresh data possible. And I think those were all of the housekeeping things that I wanted to hit on. So now let's go ahead and jump into the task at hand for today. So we're going to be looking at changing job demand. We're going to be looking at job postings to discuss skills and qualifications that employers are asking for within, within New Hampshire, but for you all, wherever you are. And then we're going to jump over to profile analytics to discover current skills and talents that the workforce is saying they have within a selected region. So to do that, we're going to jump into regions. For anyone following along from Canada, this report is actually going to be found for you under industries. So if you click on the industries, it's going to be found in the bottom right. But for US, we're going to be found here with this economy overview. Hot tip. If you are frequently using reports, so let's say you frequently use this economy overview, you can actually bookmark it. I have mine bookmarked. You can bookmark this so that on your home page, those reports are actually just found down here. So these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the 5 reports that I find myself using most frequently, and I have them just bookmarked on my home page so that I don't have to go find them here. I can just click on them right there. So when doing an economy overview, really great for doing just this, giving you an overview of an economy. And you could look at a zip code level, you can look at county level, you could look at a state or an MSA, you could look at multiple counties, you could look at the whole nation if you have nationwide data. You can also look at radius from address. So if you were interested in looking at a 60-mile region, although this could change this to 45, 5, 10, 15, whatever you want, from your college, then you could do that, and it'll zoom you in and it'll show you the different counties that you can grab within a 45-mile radius. Maybe this is your service region, and so this is what you want to grab. You could do that, and then you could just look at those 7 counties. For today, I'm going to start bigger. We're going to start with looking at the entire state of New Hampshire. One reason why I've chose New Hampshire to use as an example today is because I work with the community college system of New Hampshire, and there are 7 colleges within the system and 5 academic centers all across New Hampshire. And so one thing that I want to do is I want to look big picture, what is happening within the economy of New Hampshire, but then I'm going to want to go county by county where the community colleges serve and look at compare and contrast, just so that, you know, when the system is looking at what's happening within New Hampshire, they know that, but then they also know, okay, but specifically for this college, what is happening within this region versus for this college, what is happening in this region. And then they can make decisions from there about what programs to offer or that sort of a thing. So with the economy overview, there's not very many filters to choose. It's literally what region do you want to look at. You can export into Excel, PDF. You could save. If you save, it saves to the home screen. Name it something memorable here. I do love this setup email alert here. You can actually send email reminders to yourself to check back in on a report. And then here's this report, which I'm going to just walk through to show you what is available within this economy overview. For anyone from Canada, you will notice if you have run an economy overview that your economy overview looks different than ours. That's just partially because of the data that we have access to. So there's still really great stuff in there. It's just not nearly as comprehensive and long as the American economy overview data report here that we have. So starting just overview here, what is the population of New Hampshire? What is the total regional employment? What is that median household income, with some takeaways? These three dots here are to let you know that you can either download this image. So let's say you find something and you're like, wow, I was literally talking to my friend about this yesterday, my coworker about this yesterday, and this solves all of our problems. And then you can just download that image. You can send it to them in an email. You could also remove it from the export. So if you're trying to create a report to put on someone's desk, but this part is not important, like it's obviously super awesome, but maybe not necessarily important for the report you're trying to create, you can actually remove it from the export. And then when you go to export, it just won't be there. So here we also have the region, and I've gone ahead and put in 9 different counties from across New Hampshire, just to show a little bit of comparison here between what is the population, the labor force breakdown between different counties, where these different colleges and centers are located. There is this jump to regional comparison table here, which we will do in order to do just that, compare the regions. But first, we're gonna make our way through the rest of the report, and then we'll come back and do that. So here we have the November 2021 labor force breakdown for the state of New Hampshire. Next is we're going to look at what is the educational attainment for the state of New Hampshire, mostly coming in here with a high school diploma and then followed next by bachelor's degree. We have unemployment by demographics, showing unemployment by age, by gender, by race, and also by ethnicity. And then some historic and projected trends as well. So we do not predict the future, but we do like to project. So when we're projecting, we look at historical data. So we look at the past 5 years, we look at the past 10 years, we look at the past 15 years, and then we just say, if the trends of the past hold true, then this is what we are projecting for the next 5-10 years. So here's a population, some historical data here, and then some projected, and then also for jobs within the state of New Hampshire. Now you're going to see this everywhere because of COVID, but then usually we're seeing this pop right back up, which is very encouraging. We have some population characteristics for the state of New Hampshire, so pulling on some demographic data, including the number of millennials coming up and those who are retiring soon. Place of work versus place of residence map here. So just showing that between the counties, where is your talent working versus where is your talent living across the state, looking county by county. Some inbound and outbound migration. So when people are coming to the state of New Hampshire, where are they coming from? When they're leaving the state, where are they headed to? always interesting to see where people are choosing to go. I looked up the state of Idaho just to see what was happening within Idaho, and there's a lot of Californians, people from California and Oregon and Washington moving into Idaho now. Just interesting to see state by state what are the different trends happening. And then here we have some industry characteristics. So when I'm walking people through Analyst for the first time, I often give them two places to start. So if you don't know exactly what you're looking for, then starting with this economy overview is a great place to start, because it's going to let you know things like this. What are the largest industry by job within your region? And this is going to give you some ideas of, okay, well, maybe this is an industry that I should dig into, or later on we're going to see occupations. Maybe this is an occupation that I should be jumping into. The other place that I tell people to start is the keyword search in job postings, and I can show you that later. But sometimes you come to Analyst with a specific question. Someone sent you a question saying, I want to know this specific thing, and you're like, on it, I can do that in Analyst. You jump in, you know exactly what reports you want to run. Sometimes somebody might ask you a question like, hey, what industry should we have our eye on within New Hampshire? This would be a great place to come and do that in this economy overview. So it's going to let you know what are these largest industries by job, largest industries, top growing industries. I'm actually going to take note of this and dig into this a little bit later. Professional, scientific, and technical services. By location quotient. These little question marks that are found throughout Analyst are super helpful. I know what location quotient is, but putting it into words sometimes on the spot is hard, which is why this is really nice to have this question mark right here. By gross regional product, and then also by earnings, top industry by earnings within the state of New Hampshire. What will be interesting is these top growing jobs or growing industry. We're going to look at this top growing industry. This is growing across the state of New Hampshire. But one thing that will be interesting to see is that when we compare region to region, saying, okay, but what regions is this actually growing in? And are there actually some regions where this industry is declining and other regions where it's like exploding? If you want to see some detail here, you can click on that. Some business characteristics. So these are based off of public profiles where people are saying, this is my job, this is where I work, these are my skills. And for the state of New Hampshire, the most profiles, people are saying that these are the top companies that they work at. So a good idea of knowing what are our top companies, where are people mostly saying that they're employed within the state. And then the top companies who are posting for jobs and those unique postings that these companies are making. So if you're wanting to know, if someone says, hey, what are the top 10 companies who are posting for jobs within the state of New Hampshire, you could say, actually, I know exactly where to go to find that information. Workforce characteristics. So also really helpful here, looking into what are the largest occupations by jobs within the state. Growing, which ones are the top growing ones? Going to take note of this one, actually, computer and mathematical occupations, and dig into that a little bit later. By location quotient, by earnings, by job postings. So a lot of different really great growing occupation and workforce characteristics data here. Also, you can show more detail, a lot more detail. And then a bit of an educational pipeline. So for the state of New Hampshire, here are the top schools that are reporting the most graduates, and then a little bit of a trend. So you can see where they are, if their completions are inclining, are increasing or declining or decreasing or flatlining or whatever it might be. And then color coded also by certificate, associate's, bachelor's, master's, or higher. And then lastly, looking here at hard skills. So we're getting this from job posting data within the job postings submitted online to those online job boards, career sites, What are the employers of New Hampshire? What are the top hard skills that they're asking for? Top 3 here are going to be merchandising, nursing, and warehousing, and this is all compared here to the national average. And that gets us to the end of our report. So I'm gonna fly back up to a regional comparison. For those of you following along from Canada, this is not an option here to jump to a regional comparison table, but a close option for you all would be to look at regional comparison by industry. So that would be a good report to jump into, because that's part of what this report is going to cover. So now we're looking at region by region. So I already put in all those regions from New Hampshire. I was actually limited to 9, which meant that Carroll got left off, but I will add Carroll County in New Hampshire back in here for this report. And now you can see side-by-side comparison of the whole state and then county by county. Other things that you can add are different industries. So I noticed that one of the top growing industries within the state of New Hampshire was this professional, scientific, and technical services. And one of the occupations that was growing was computer and mathematical occupations. So I went ahead and grabbed those and put those in. You can add more. So if you also wanted to look at another industry that's growing just nationwide is transportation and warehousing. So if we wanted to look at that, transportation and warehousing, then you can come in and add multiple different industries to look at. You can also set a time frame here, so you could go back to 2001, you could project all the way forward to 2032. I have this set at a 10-year, which I'm happy with for now, so I'm going to leave it at that. You can export this report, you can save it to your homepage. You can also add and remove rows. So I have rows and rows of different data for regional metrics, for industry metrics here with the professional, scientific, and technical services, transportation and warehousing, and then different rows of data here with regard to the computer and mathematical occupations. But you can add and remove rows based on what you're trying to find out, what you're interested in. As you can see, there's a lot of different options here. So I went ahead and went through and pre-selected a bunch, but there's lots of different options for you to select as you're exploring on your own. Okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and leave the ones that are already selected. And let's look a little bit at what we can see here. So we're looking at the regional metrics, and it's really helpful to be able to see these in comparison to each other. So you can see where there's population decrease, where there's projected population increase, and then also job projected percent job change or job decrease across the state of New Hampshire with all the different regions compared. Also, this is something that I was interested in looking at. So this professional, I'll go ahead and get rid of this one. Analyst, we try to make it as user-friendly as possible. You can add in industries, you can get rid of industries, you could add in regions, get rid of regions without having to start the report all over. I do find that it leads you on a bit of a rabbit trails sometimes, so be warned. But this is something that I was interested in looking at is, so in the economy overview for the whole state, saying that we're projected to change, job change within this industry. But where is that mostly happening? By what region? And we can see that, some here, it's like a 4% projected change over the next 10 years. But where it's mostly happening here, this is a 30% change here within Strafford County. So that would be something for Strafford County to take into consideration. If you're thinking about, offering new programs or offering new programs, then this could be something to keep an eye on. And one thing that I know that a lot of colleges want to do is you don't necessarily want to just be reactive, right? You don't want to see, okay, what is in the job postings now, and then how can we act based on what's happening now? You kind of want to get ahead of the curve a little bit. What's coming? How can we be prepared so that when, those job postings do increase, employers are saying we want this now. You're saying, oh, we actually have that. Like we're ready. And this would be a way to do that, looking at this job change, that percent change, and opportunity here. You can also do that looking into specific occupations. So we're looking at computer and mathematical occupations across New Hampshire are projected to increase by 15%, but I am seeing a little bit of red over here. So looking at Cheshire County, it's actually projected to decrease, whereas in other places, Stratford County projected to increase. So it is really helpful to be able to look big picture, like what is happening within New Hampshire, but it's also extremely helpful to look a little narrower, what is happening county by county. With that, I'm gonna jump us over to job postings. So we see that within Stratford County, these jobs for computer and mathematical occupations are projected to have a 21% change over the next 10 years. So let's go look at the job postings and let's just see what's happening. There's no easy way to jump to that from this report. So I'm just gonna go back to my homepage, find job postings here, and job postings here. I can look at county level for job postings. I could look at state, I could look at nation, MSA. Let's look at Stratford County though, and let's look at those computer and mathematical occupations. Within job postings are so fun. They're so fun. But they are a bit like the Wild West, where there's no rules, there's no regulations. Employers can post as frequently or infrequently as they want. They can post, they can include or exclude whatever information they want. So it's a bit like digging through the weeds to get to the roots there to find things. But I think that's what makes it so fun. And we have a lot of different filters that we can put on this report so that you really can dig through those weeds, like you really can try to get at what you're looking for. So let's start here. Let's start with Stratford County in New Hampshire, looking at computer and mathematical occupations. So one thing I mentioned before is trying to get ahead of that demand. Right now, currently in the job postings, there isn't a huge demand, but what we're looking at is that potentially 10 years down the line for Stratford County, there is going to be that demand. So it could be an opportunity to kind of get in front of that curve. But also see here the number of unique postings from February 2021 to January 2022. Not all employers include advertised salary within job postings, although more and more are these days, so we should have more access to this data. But if they have included their salary, then it's here. Right now, we're just looking at Stratford County. And then here are some sample job postings. So if you were interested in reading the language, looking into further detail on individual job postings, then you could. You can also click off here. It'll actually take you off to the site where the job posting can be found. This is a new thing that we've added since January. And for our Canadian friends, this is coming in March for you all, is what I've heard most recently, where you can actually download up to 500 job postings just for some, great right before bed reading. I don't know. But we now have access to all of those. Advertised, unique posting trend historically here to look at what has happened in the past. And then this in yellow is actually my time frame that I have set. So you can see if it's increasing or decreasing. You can also see what education and experience level that employers are advertising for. If you're interested in looking at, okay, let's just grab the ones that are at the associate's degree level, then you can do that. We have the filter here for that. one thing that it is going to do, so it will grab all of the job postings that mention associate's degree, but employers will do some double dipping, right? They'll say associate's degree with 2 years of experience or a bachelor's degree. So it is going to cast a broad net still, but it will be far more narrow than it was before. Just for the sake of having more data to grab, I'm going to unclick that. Here you can see who's hiring. So we have the average monthly job postings number here, average number of actual hires that have happened. And here this graph is showing a comparison. So what we're doing here in the orange is we're showing what is that, what is the number of the unique job postings that have happened within those online job sites, career boards, versus in the blue, what is the number of actual hires that have happened. One thing to keep in mind here when you're comparing job posting numbers to actual hires is just that the occupation that you're looking at is extremely important. So just to show you what I'm talking about, we'll come back to the computer and mathematical operations, but let's do, let's just grab welders here. What you're gonna notice is different here. So far more hires than actual job postings. Probably just, I mean, I can't say exactly why, because I can't jump into the mind of the employers within this county who are looking to hire welders, but how are you going to go about hiring a welder? Would you do that by writing an online job posting? So here you can see that keeping your occupation that you're looking for in mind is important. So let's go back to computer and mathematical occupations. So working our way down this report, also super helpful here, we're going to see who are the top companies within Stratford County who are saying that they're looking to hire someone within this occupation. You can select a company. So if you want to dive a little bit deeper and say, okay, well, what is Lincoln Financial Group? What are they posting for? You can add to filter. You can also exclude from results. So if there's a company in here and you think it's kind of skewing the data a little bit, you just get rid of them if you want. That works pretty well. But now this report is totally rerun, just looking at Lincoln Financial Group. So you can see that they're actually only posting within the city of Dover. They are only, well, they're only posting for computer mathematical occupations because that's what I have it limited to. If I were to get rid of this though, we could see what are all the occupations that this company is posting for. These are the job titles that are appearing in those job postings this company is making. Not all employers know or care about a specific SOC code or NOC code if you're from Canada. They just have this job, it has a title, it has to be filled, and so they put it into their job posting. You can see what industry this is matching to, and then also incredibly helpful here is going to be the in-demand skills, both by hard skills and common skills. So just showing what is the frequency that this hard skill of fundraising is showing up within job postings that employers are saying we want, well, this specific employer is saying we want the hard skill of fundraising, versus in this lighter blue, this is showing up saying this is the frequency that the skill is showing up in resumes that have been submitted online or those public profiles. So what we have here is a gap. It is a gap. It could be a gap for a few different reasons, a couple different reasons. It could be because your workforce does not have the skill of fundraising. It could be that, in which case opportunity for colleges to come in and upskill the workforce, right? Or it could just be like a resume alignment problem, in which case opportunity for colleges to come in and help align those resumes. We also have those for the common skills as well. Top qualifications that employers are adding to their job postings. Well, that this employer is adding to the job postings, so that you know what are they asking for. Do we offer this? Do we need to offer it? And then where are we getting these job postings for? What sites are we scraping to get you this information? You can start really big too here. So if we got rid of this company, if we got rid of this occupation, if we wanted to just look at New Hampshire, then you can start big. This way you could just get an idea of what are the top qualifications in demand for the state of New Hampshire. What are the top skills gaps for the state of New Hampshire? What are the top industries, and so on and so on. You can also look by skill. So on that economy overview that we were on earlier, we saw that merchandising, nursing, and warehousing were top skills. So if we just wanted to look and say, okay, warehouse skills. So we saw that warehousing was a top skill within our region, but let's see, what does that actually look like? Who is asking for this skill? Well, you can actually come and type that in to look for skills and qualifications within job postings, and it will tell you just that. So we're scraping job postings from the state of New Hampshire, just looking at this warehousing skills here, and it's gonna let us know who's hiring. These are the top companies that are hiring. Like I said, if you think that something is skewing the results, you could say, actually, let's exclude them. And you can kind of narrow your search down. Okay, really quickly, the next place I'm going to zoom off to is profile analytics. So in this job postings report, we can see what are employers asking for within a certain region. The next thing to ask is, okay, what is our workforce saying about themselves? Like, what are their occupations? What are their skills? Where are they working? And we can do that through profile analytics. Unfortunately for our Canadian people, this is not a report that we have access to. Ian McManus, who you might work with, told me to recommend that you call StatsCan, get them to loosen the reins a little bit on this data so that it is a thing that we can offer for you all. So feel free to be done listening to me chat or hang on, because I know we're going to have some time for questions a little bit later. But for those of you who have access to US data, we do have this. So you can search a specific region. So if you're trying to look at within the state of New Hampshire, and then you could look at a specific school if you wanted to narrow it down. So if I wanted to look at NHTI, and then this is going to pull on public profiles that mention NHTI as their school, that they went to this school. One thing that I noticed is that, depending on where you are, your grads won't necessarily just stay in your own state. When I threw Massachusetts in here for NHTI, it actually grabbed even more. And so then I was interested. I was like, well, what if I just grab the whole nation? So nation-wise, no limit here. There's actually, you can see where your grads end up throughout the nation. So we'll go ahead and look at that. But this is going to let you know, for anyone who said that they've gone to this school, these are the cities that they're saying that they work in. You can actually explore their profiles that they have here. You can see what companies they say that they work for. And this data, just so you know, this data is only going to be as truthful as the reporter, as is true with any data. But it's only going to be as current as the person has made their profile. It's only going to be as truthful as the person has made their profile. So if they're saying they have the skill of being detail oriented, but they're a hot mess, then we're only going to show the fact that they're saying that they're detail oriented. But generally, when you look at it as a group sum, I think it's overall pretty truthful. So top companies, top state, so New Hampshire's top state, followed by Massachusetts and then Florida. Top occupations, Again, you can exclude from the filter. So if you're saying, okay, chief executive, let's not look at those. Let's look at the other occupations that they're saying that they have, then you can get rid of those from the results. You can see top job titles they're saying they have, other schools that they're saying that they went to. So you could kind of get an idea of where did they maybe go once they were done at NHTI. And then other programs that they say that they've finished. And then here, really helpful, what are they saying that their skills are? Both hard and common. And then what are their qualifications? Or what are they saying their qualifications are? So just getting the ability to compare, right? What are our employers saying they want? What are our alum, what are our grads, what are our people saying that they have? You don't have to limit this to a school. So if we just wanted to look at New Hampshire, the state of New Hampshire, no school selected, then that's going to cast an even broader net here, just so that you get an even better idea of what those gaps might be. Okay, I have walked through everything that I plan to walk through. I think that I will stop talking and I'll let Elise take over from here.
All right, you did great, dude. I mean, you at least unmuted yourself, so I think you're off to a good start from that one. I am so looking forward to going and filling this little guy with coffee instead of water, so it'll be good. It'll be a good day. We have quite a few questions, which is awesome. We did have a question too that I wanted to reiterate when Chantelle talked about our chat feature in the tool. That is ran by Chantelle and I and the customer service team. We don't outsource that outside the company or have a bot, which is super awesome. And I know that that's unique and different for a lot of companies. And so we feel that we have the resources here to help you out the most. And so by having our team actually run that is super helpful. Chantelle's actually the intercom czar. So we haven't decided on a name, but for right now, that's what's kind of stuck in my brain. But she runs it all and manages the schedule. And so it's really awesome just to have that resource for you all. We had a couple of questions. I did answer some of them. So I'm going to just run through the ones that we didn't answer that I didn't write back to. One of the questions was what job projection model do we use? I'm going to answer this one, and Chantelle, if you have anything to add in addition to that, go for it. But we use our own proprietary method to do our job projections. We look at the past 5, 10, and 15 years of past data, and then we form 10-year projections from that, and then combine that into one 10-year projection. We can get you methodology if you want. That is in our knowledge base, one of the places that Chantelle pointed out, but it typically aligns with our standard, like what we see in federal government methodologies, but sometimes there'll be some small differences just because we do use our own proprietary method. So I hope that helps. There were also a couple of other questions about asking things like interested in finding some specific skills and trainings that are in demand. They are wanting to know if you can find out if employers require or prefer a bachelor's or master's degree. And those are things that in the job postings report, you can actually filter to see specific skills. You can filter by education level. And so Chantelle, I was hoping you could just quickly walk someone through the bachelor level filter, and then how would you find those specific skills that employers are looking for in that report?
So heading back into the job posting analytics, there's so many filters here. So this would be the place to do it. So choose your region that you want to look at. And then if you want to see who is mentioning a bachelor's degree, then you can limit to that. Like I said before, employers double dip. So this is not going to be exclusively bachelor's degree. There will be other job postings that mention, here, let me scroll. So there are some that mention associate's degree, but it's going to be 100% of the ones that mention bachelor's that will grab some others here. So that would be a way to limit it. The other thing you asked about, Elise, is looking into what certain qualifications employers ask for. So
yep, skills and qualifications that they're interested in.
Okay, so if you want to look at, actually I want to make sure I get rid of the staffing companies here. So if you wanted to look at Humana, click on the company that you're interested in, add to the filter. This whole report is now completely, well, let me double check my filters. Always double check your filters. Okay, I'm only looking at Humana and New Hampshire. So this will be about, this entire report is going to be about this one company. And if you look down here at the bottom of the report down here, you're going to see the skills. So these are the hard skills that Humana is asking for within their job postings. And then you can compare that to what is our workforce saying that the skills are that they have. You have those for both the common and the hard skills. Some of them aren't saying that they have influencing skills at all. The New Hampshire workforce is not saying that they have decision making, just crazy at all. But this is where resume alignment comes in, because obviously there are people who have the skill of decision making who are in New Hampshire. I know people from New Hampshire. I know they can make decisions. And then this is going to be where those qualifications are coming in. So you can see what are the qualifications that this company is asking for within their job postings.
Cool. So you can change that up. It's pretty nice to be able to have those options. So one really quick question was, are we updated to 2020 census? I just did a quick look at our release notes. It looks like we do have 2020 census data in there, but I will have to double check with our data team to make sure. So then the next question, and this is something that I'm hearing a lot from community colleges. This person's thinking about adding in a BA program in elementary education. And they want to understand how to find job availability information. Is there any way for us to see the level of completion from other colleges with respect to getting prospective students? The best place I would point you to is go to the program overview for this. It's going to start out your search from a zip code, so you can go in and see completions numbers. You can go in and see what schools have those completions and what level of completion those schools have. And so I think that this would be a really great start. I know that a lot of schools right now are starting, I think there's over 25 states right now that are allowing their community colleges to have those bachelor's degrees. I know we have university folks here, so I think that this provides a really cool opportunity to kind of start out and see what that is. In the left-hand side, you can also filter to look by certain education levels. So you are looking at bachelor's, so you could look at associates and bachelor degrees, just to get that idea and to help you compare that. So that will start you out looking at that information. And then to answer the first part of that question, the job availability information, if you scroll down further, you'll see this connects and aligns and maps over to the available occupations in the region, what that growth looks like, all that information. So really helps get you started. Thanks for navigating there, Chantelle. Helpful to see what those look like. So let's see. The next one is, can you explain what posting intensity stands for? Chantelle, I'm gonna let you take this one.
Yeah, so great question. Posting intensity. So basically what we do is we do a comparison. So we have our total postings and then we have unique postings. And then what we can do is we can deduplicate them down. And so if it's a 3 to 1, basically what we're saying is for every one unique posting, we're seeing 3 duplicates. So that would be the intensity. Being able to compare to a regional average is really helpful. So, you know, if the regional average is a 3 to 1, and you notice that a company is on target, then you're like, okay, well, that's on target with the rest of what's happening within our county. But if you see something that could be like a 12 to 1 or something, then that's a flag to you saying, okay, they're posting a lot. So maybe they're having a hard time finding someone, in which case you could actually dig deeper into that specific company. Maybe they're asking, generally what I found is that they're asking for a specific certification or qualification that not a lot of people have, in which case, cool opportunity to partner with that company to provide workers for them.
Cool, good explanation, Chantelle. I love listening to everyone on our team talk about the data because I pick up something new every single time, which makes it super fun. So there was 2 very similar questions. Where do we get our profiles data? A lot of people assume this is just from LinkedIn. We do get some information from LinkedIn, but we actually use this from all over the internet. We pull from any professional resume or online site, so any profiles that are public, anything like that, to pull it and say, hey, this person has listed this information. We make sure that their job title, their name, their email are all in there so we can show that. But we're not just pulling it from one place. Anywhere that it's public, we're pulling it, making sure that we can see it. Anything you'd add to that, Chantelle?
The only other thing I would add is that we do a deduplication process, though. So it is likely that one person has multiple different public profiles. So we do have a pretty rigorous deduplication process for that. So it is, to the best of our capabilities, it is down to that unique number of profiles.
And if you don't see that profile analytics tab on the left-hand side, this is an additional piece to your tool that you can talk to your account manager about, and they can get you access or do a trial or something like that. One of the reasons why we actually go over this in a little bit more detail is we're starting to add more snippets of this to more reports that don't cost extra, that you just see these skills comparisons, you see profile numbers. And so we like to cover this to make sure you understand kind of where this is coming from and give you that opportunity. So if this is something you're interested in seeing the full data set or something like that, any of the account managers are happy to walk you through that information. And you can find out who your account manager is in that drop down in support and analyst. You just have to go there, and their phone number, email address are all there. If for some reason it's not there, just feel free to reach out to us from the email invite from this training. It'll come to me. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. That's all the questions we had today. Thank you, Chantelle. This was great. Thank you, everybody who joined today. You will get an email from us with the recording and the instructions on how to get there. We look forward to talking to you next month. We're going to do a little bit more university focused. We do have a general training coming up in a week and a half or so about Career Coach and the Widget Builder. So be looking for those emails from us. We're really excited, and we look forward to talking to you next month. Have a great rest of the day, and we'll talk soon.